Is the Line 6 POD HD500x still relevant today? The HD500x was released in 2013. This is the same year that Elvis released their music video for What Does the Fox Say? And the word twerk was added to the dictionary. Since then, many multi-effect pedals have come out on the market from Kemper, Fractal, even Line 6, but I still think that the 500x is one of the best bangs for your buck when it comes to full-size multi-effect pedal boards. And I have a way that you can future-proof the 500x, so be sure to stay till the end of the video to catch what that is. The 500x is the final pedal board in the POD HD series. This includes the HD300, 400, and 500. Now, the whole idea behind the HD series was to create amp models that really feel like real amps. So not just the way that they sound, but actually the way that they feel and respond to the way that you play. And it seems like Line 6 really pulled that off.
The thing that we wanted to try and improve mainly with doing the HD modeling was a lot to do with feel. So it's that tactile sense that we were trying to get back, and that's really the crux of what we were going for.
A few years later, they released the 500x with more amp and effect models, more DSP, creating a very usable, full-featured pedal board. Speaking of DSP, in my opinion, the 500x has just enough. You can definitely max it out if you get too crazy with your signal chain, but you can run dual amps with all 8 effect blocks if you do it right. Okay, so one of the drawbacks of using an older device is that the user experience is a little dated. I've used a Helix and the screen on that looks amazing, the buttons and knobs feel great, and switching back to the 500x after using the Helix is a lot like going from a Nintendo Switch to a Tamagotchi. Now let's talk about the Helix. Is the Helix better than the 500x? Yeah, it's better. It has more tones, more functionality, better user experience, but here's where things get interesting. If you listen to side-by-side audio demos of tones from the POD HDs compared to the Helix, the POD HD tones hold up really well. There's a really good video on YouTube by Mitch Baker where he demos amp models on the POD HD500 with similar amp models on the Helix, and honestly, I don't hear any quality difference. I do hear tonal differences. Typically, amp models on the Helix are a little brighter than the amp models on the POD HD500, but as Mitch alludes to in the video, although there's differences in the tone, it's not really a better or worse, it's just different.
Some of the models on the POD HD, it's not really a better or worse thing in my opinion. I think it really is just a difference. Because I think the POD HD really does hold its own. It's just a different sort of flavor. It usually doesn't have quite as much low end or beef to it, but depends on the kind of user you are.
And when you consider that a Helix costs about $1,000 used and you can get a 500x for about $250 used, I think the 500x becomes a very viable option. On the front side, you have 8 foot switches for controlling effects and presets. There is an expression pedal, and there is a looper feature. There's a whole bunch of inputs and outputs. You have your main guitar in, you have a secondary guitar in, and you even have a microphone input. You can also hook up a secondary expression pedal. For outs, you have 1/4 inch and XLR. Those are stereo. You also have an SPDIF output. You have a stereo effects loop. This is really nice for routing in other pedals. If you're using an amp that also has an effects loop, you can do the 4-cable method. You have MIDI in and out. You also have some special Line 6 connections like Variax guitars and certain Line 6 amplifiers. There's an MP3 input and a headphone jack. Also, there's a USB port, so if you connect the 500x to your computer with USB, the 500x will operate like an audio interface. You can record direct to your DAW. Also, when you're connected with the USB, you can use the edit software, so you can edit presets right on your computer. You can also save and load presets to and from your computer and your 500x. Okay, so one of the biggest drawbacks of using an older device is that software support is limited. It seems like every time there's a major Mac OS update, there's a flood of comments of people saying that they've lost connectivity between their 500x and their computer, and Line 6 has to go and update the edit software, and you know what, they're not gonna do that forever. And so we may need to keep a computer with an older operating system on it so that we can continue to use the edit software. Another drawback is that you can't run impulse responses. Now, here's a cool trick that I learned on a Facebook group, and the trick is to run something like this, either after the 500x or route it in the effects loop. This is a Tone X1, and this can run impulse responses and captures of amps and pedals. You could run complete amp models on the Tone X, you could run just just a cab impulse response with a preamp model on the 500X. You don't have to use a Tonex, there's other options on the market, but by incorporating an IR loader with your 500X, you essentially have access to endless tones. Okay guys, what do you think? Is the 500X still relevant today, or is it old news? Let me know in the comments below. If you want more information on the 500X, check out this video up here. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.